Hello anybody and welcome, I'm Christian from ISI and this is the third Devlog video on my game Lightbots, originally made as a London 45 entry. So, over the weekend, I've been working on the splash screen, the loading scene, and the main menu scene. So, right now, the game will start into the splash screen, which just shows my Iron Star logo, and it'll sit here, and then it'll go to loading screen, which is really quick, you didn't get to see it really, and then it goes on to the main menu. So from the main menu, you'd be able to select a new game, level select options, what most games have. That's pretty simple. There's none of those yet, but I'll be working on those. And I've also made the first level, which isn't a lot to look at yet. It's pretty bland. There we go. And of course, I've got everything. But anyway, on the global settings, I've got the highest level, current level, and level to load. Highest level is just the highest level you've actually reached, so you can't skip to the end of the game. Current level stores what you last played was. That way you can continue where you left off without having to remember which level you were on when you last played. That's pretty much your save game. You come back and you can just continue on from where you are. I'm not going to do save games because it's kind of a puzzle game, so you don't really have save games. Level to load is the level it's actually currently trying to load. So that's what the loading scene uses to load. So on the main camera, I've got this loading screen script. If we open that up, the loading screen just has a start function, and it just load async and loads the global settings level to load. And that's just pretty simple. It starts it and loads it. Yeah, I'm just going to load it so you can see what the loading screen actually looks like. It's pretty simple. I've just got a pipe that runs through, and then I've got background. What I did with the background is I duplicated it, so the tiles in the background are actually identical. And what happens is just an animation. The global settings by default has a load the main menu. Oopsies. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But what it does is it just runs infinitely for as long as it needs to take, and it just keeps loading. And so you can just look around the screen. And that's supposed to be because whenever you finish a mission, you just go into the pipes, and so that's supposed to be you jumping through the pipes to the next mission. So yeah, that's pretty simple for now, and I'll probably be working on more tutorial missions and then start working on some of the puzzles. I've got most of the actual game done now. There's a few things that I haven't implemented yet, but they can be implemented later. They're just like puzzle elements. Like in the Lundy entrance, I had these floating boxes or physics boxes that hang from the ceiling, and you could like cut them to drop them and stuff. And so I used that in some of the puzzles. You had to get them swinging, and then you had to cut them so they'd get thrown across the room and onto a button and things like that. So I'll be re-implementing those. So anyway, that's all I've done so far. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, it's Wednesday. I spent yesterday working on levels, so I've added level 2 and level 3. Level 3, I stopped on that one because I've added new physics, or puzzle elements. So I've got the physics button and a rope. These are both physics-based puzzles, or puzzle elements. And yeah, so I had those in the first game. The rope is just a couple little joints, so if I open this up, you can see I've got different segments. Each segment just connects to the next one in the list, and then the last one I've connected it to the box. I use 2 points because if you use 1 point, the box wiggles backwards and forwards like really quickly, and it looks really bad. But using 2 points, it keeps it sort of level, and it looks like it's actually attached to the rope properly. And I've also added a one-off button, which is like the normal button, but now when you press it, it will activate once and only once. So I want to make sure people understand that when I say button and not physics button, they're actually two different things. I probably should have given them different names, but I've already named them, so I can't really change it that easily. But yeah, so the button, just button, is the one you press as the orb, and the physics button is one that has to be pressed by a physics. So the physics button uses, yeah, I've got 2 spring joints for this one. So they both connect to different sides of the top of the button. And the top button has a polygon collider. So that gives it this trapezoid shape to make it easy to push boxes up the sides of it. And yeah, that's what I've done for yesterday. So now that I've gotten those ones done, I will continue to add levels, because I would have been able to make more levels, but I got stuck on having to do those, which took me a little while. So yeah, I'll probably keep working on levels. Hopefully I can finish sort of all the tutorial missions today, and then I can work on trying to make decent puzzles, hopefully. But that's all for now. Okay, it's Thursday. I've been working on levels last night and a little bit this morning. I guess I did get as far as I wanted to, so I finished the tutorial levels. I've got, this one, two, I think this is the last tutorial-ish mission. No, that's not really a tutorial. This one's pretty much the last tutorial where it teaches you that, or it tries to teach you that things have to be done a certain way. Sometimes this is the same as one of the puzzles, it's just slightly different in layout, but pretty much the idea is you play as your little unit, and the box is hanging from a rope. If you just drop the box, it'll hit the cube, and then it'll hit that box piece there, and it'll fall off, and you can't get it on the other side. What you have to do is you have to bump it so it's swinging backwards and forwards, and you have to cut it at the right time so it lands on the button. So yeah, that was one of the levels I had in one of the earlier in the first game, just so people understood that. It was mainly to teach people that they could use physics to manipulate things. Because I wanted to have more physics-based puzzles in the earlier game, but I didn't really end up having that many, just because I didn't really end up having that many levels. But yeah, so I've been trying to design interesting levels, but oh, that's not finished. It hasn't even started. But I'm trying to design interesting levels, but they're all not very good at all. I hope they'll get better in time, but so far I haven't been able to come up with any particularly good ones. So this one's pretty simple. It's just you start the game, you take control of this unit, and this button seems to do nothing. The only thing I don't like about this one is it feels like someone might be able to solve it accidentally. So pretty much the way it is, you press this button, it shuts you in. So you can open it again. So like, how do you get through if opening this? But I think having this button here, people are just going to be like, oh, well, why is that there? And so they'll try and explore, and you'll find that this is up here. You can just drop this down. And pretty much this button applies a positive signal, but this switch here applies a negative symbol. Now together they equal 0. And so I've set this door to open on a 0 signal. That's wrong door. This door here. So it opens on a power level of 0. So by default it will be open. But then as soon as you flip the switch, it shuts the door. And so this one's pretty simple. After you've figured that out, you can I think I made it like that. Yeah. And so that's the puzzle. So it's not even that complex or intelligent or smart. But yeah, I watched some videos on like GDC conferences on level design and stuff, and so I came up with some ideas of different styles of puzzles. So this is the default sort of puzzle platform, a logical contradiction. So there's a door in my way. To open the door, I shut another, making it seemingly impossible. So that's sort of how this one works. Even though it's, I think a lot of people will probably end up solving it accidentally, not like it's even a hard puzzle, because most people would probably just explore to find out why this button is even here. And then the other one I had was a flooded level. So these levels rely on water level rising, and so you open up different pipes and stuff, and the water level will increase, and that'll allow you to access new areas where you couldn't access before. Gravity-based levels, where you rotate gravity on different directions, or the level is constantly rotating or something like that. So I'm not sure how good those will be, or how much use I can make of those. Keychain levels, which I think is probably the most interesting idea I have so far, is where a unit/units are chained to different objects or each other to allow for complex puzzle solving, hopefully complex, allowing you to press buttons on the other side of a wall or door. So like if you had this unit here, and how this box is hanging from the ceiling, if I parented the rope that's here, where's the rope? The rope, to the object himself, and then attach it to a box, as you run around, you'll drag the box around with you, so you can like drag it over to a button and press it, and you can like try and jump through with that on the button, and then as you jump through it, pulls the box out to you and shuts the door. Or if there was nothing underneath here, I could have a big long platform, and then buttons could be underneath, and as you move across the surface, the box will be moving underneath, and it'll be pressing buttons and stuff for you. I'm not sure how good that'll be, or multiple units chained together, and so as you run around as one, it drags the other one with you, and so you could like stand somewhere, and the other one's going to jump on your head and jump up, and then you could jump after and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how good those will be. And then segmented levels, which I think is another pretty cool idea, but pretty much I'll have like giant doors or something inside the map, and like when I press the button, rather than this door opening, this like entire wall segment here might like shift over, opening up new access to buttons I couldn't access before, and so then like I press this button and it shifts the platform upwards, and then I've got new access to different buttons and platforms, and I press that button and it pulls one over there, or drops this down, or completely removes the wall or something entirely. And so as you go through, the level like changes, so maybe it's just a giant room with tons of like scaffolding things in it, and as you press buttons and do stuff, they move around and change level. So that kind of sounds promising as well, but hopefully with a few novel ideas I'll be able to make 5 to 10 different levels with these ideas, and that'll give a fairly decent length for our first game, and then I'll probably move on to something else. So yeah. Okay, it's Friday. I tried to do some levels yesterday, but it didn't work out all that well. I never actually made something I was particularly proud of. I tried brainstorming for a bit. I looked around on Google and different puzzle design talks and stuff to see if I could get some inspiration, but yeah, I got some, but not a ton. But one thing I did find I tried working with was this. It's a puzzle, what are we called? Like a puzzle visualization type system. So it's got like your puzzle you build here, and then it shows you all the possible states and how to solve it, and any failure states. So if I I'll demonstrate. But you can do that, and then you put your goal in, and this shows all the states that the puzzle can have. So it can only have 2 states, and then you can put like a door in the way, and it locks it. And you can put like another one. You can put a toggle, and then you can set it to trigger this door. And then you've got a puzzle, and you can actually play them and move around and do all the things. So I thought this would help, but overall my puzzles didn't end up very much better using this than they did not using this. And also a lot of the puzzle systems in this don't work the same as they work in my game, which means it makes it really hard to fully utilize everything my game has possible in a system like this. The code is all open source on his GitHub page. You can go through and modify it and stuff, but I think overall it would be a bit too much work for this project. So I'm thinking of trying to go, rather than trying to make groundbreaking, amazing puzzles, which I don't think is really all that possible anymore. Most of the good puzzle games have already been made. You know, you're not going to be able to make the next Portal game because, yeah, there's already lots of games like that. So I highly doubt I'll be able to make anything groundbreaking that everyone's going to think is amazing. So I might just try and go for some smaller, less challenging puzzles and just sort of have more of an enjoyable game that you just play through, and the puzzles are sort of more simple. You know, they require a bit of work, but it's not like you have to sit there for hours thinking about how to solve the puzzle, which is probably much easier for me to pull off. I do have a few novel ideas of what to do, so I'll see how well I can implement things like that. But yeah, I'm probably going to be busy this weekend, so I'm not sure how many puzzles I'll be able to make, but hopefully I can get something done before next week. Anyway, goodbye anybody, and see you next time.